we found another article talking about this. Feels like the boomer show, right? Talking about how homeless single adults aged 50 and older are on the rise. Boomers are becoming homeless at an alarming rate. Out of the homeless population made up of 11% of single adults aged 50 and older, 2003, it was 37%. Now in 2023, it's 50%. So baby boomers are particularly vulnerable to this. What do you think about that headline?
Those stats shocked me. I
Yeah.
mean, to think that, in 30 years, it's gone up from 11% of the homeless were 50 years or older, and now it's 50%. It's a real problem. And, it's interesting because in the prior talk track, we were sort of talking about how baby boomers overall maybe had it better than another generation,
Yeah.
because you could easily create that narrative because of the things that you shared, and those were all very real. But then at the same time, baby boomers have had a real tough time, if you call it, over the last 20 years, really, in the last 15 years for sure, right? You've had multiple recessions. Again, cost of living increases, cost of rents and home prices, which is particularly acute for this study and this problem right here. Cost of rents and home prices are at an all-time high and have gone up incredibly high over a short period of time, which can lead to homelessness. Supply of housing is very low, as kind of putting all these topics together. Now it's really hurting our folks that are on the fringe as far as being homeless, that are over 50 for sure, because housing is incredibly low in supply. And then what I also read, which I wasn't as familiar with, but the supply of low-cost assisted living centers is very low as well, due to labor shortages, inflation, and reduced funding for our low-cost assisted living centers. So I had no idea that it was this big of a problem for our folks that are age 50 and older. But at the same time, it makes sense when housing affordability obviously drives homelessness. And the folks, especially that are 50 and older, who are sort of living on the fringe or on the edge the last 10 years, especially if you didn't own real estate the last 10 years, you've just seen costs go up tremendously.
Yeah.
So yeah, surprising on one hand, and obviously an area that I think we all need to come together and try to support, to live in a country like we do, and to have, this many folks that are age 50 and older living on the streets is something that I think we can all, try to think of ways and take our part in doing something about it.
Yeah, man. Truly alarming. And when I came up with this headline, it kind of took me back. I thought it was worth talking about it. What I thought was really interesting is in the notes that you took and in our discussion prior to this is how much unaffordability of housing plays a role into this thing. And then it makes me think of one of the under kind of appreciated things of this asset is that, investing in a critical need, right? We saw that during COVID, this idea that while gas prices can go negative, a critical need is shelter, right? Like we need shelter. We need affordable places to live that aren't just luxury residences. That is the first thing that developers like to put up in growing markets. And as investors in JWB, as investors in workforce housing, we are investing in something that is badly needed. And when it comes to, this scenario, I think it's showing that it's only becoming more and more needed.
Absolutely. We need real solutions in place. And I love that you just shed a light on how, as a community here, we are a part of the solution. Because what you all may or may not know is that JWB, through our efforts, through our client base, we are the largest supplier of single family homes that cost under $300,000 in Duval County. When you go onto the multiple listing service and you look for housing in Duval County, if you're looking for the lowest cost under $300,000 for brand new construction homes, it's like JWB and maybe a couple of other listings. And so your efforts, your investments feed this engine, which is JWB. And because of all of us coming together, we can be that provider of affordable housing in a time where housing is becoming unaffordable. And so, it's a big deal. I see it only becoming a bigger and bigger problem. That's one of the reasons that we set up our charity, which is JWB Cares. And if you'd like to help donate and be a part of the mission, you can go to jwbcares.org. But our mission is to help with the affordable housing crisis that we have across the country. And we're blessed to live in a city of Jacksonville where our housing is more affordable than most, but we're also not naive to the fact that it's becoming unaffordable, even here in Jacksonville and places in Jacksonville. And it's part of obviously a bigger problem for our overall country. So something that we care a lot about. And, I just want everybody to know you're a part of the solution when you invest with JWB. You really are.
I love being part of the solution, man. And anybody that is out there that wants to allocate some of their portfolio into the solution, chat with jwb.com, I think goes without saying. Get on the horn with the team.